Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining me today. I'll be presenting my World Happiness Report. We often think of happiness as something personal or subjective, but this report treats happiness as a serious and measurable outcome. By examining 2018 and 2019 years of global survey data, we can actually quantify happiness and even understand the factors that shape it. My name is Armand Baker, and I developed this project. Over the next 10 minutes, I'll walk with you through key visualizations and findings that show how health, wealth, freedom, and generosity intersect to create more satisfied societies. I'll start off with the introduction. The World Happiness Report is one of the most important global surveys that measures well beings across countries. It's not just a feel good ranking, it's a research based resource used by policymakers, governments, business, and researchers. The data is collected through the Gallup World Poll, which asks people from 155 countries to rate their life satisfaction using the Cantrell ladder, a scale from 0 to 10, where 0 is the worst possible life and 10 is the best possible life. This score is known as the happiness score and is the foundation for global rankings. But it's not just about the score. The report also breaks happiness into 6 key contributing factors: GDP per capita, social support, health life expectancy, freedom to make life choices, generosity, and trust in the government, or more specifically, the perception of corruption. All of these combined help explain why some countries are happier than others. Here is the dataset description. This data covers the year 2018 and 2019 and include a wide variety of fields. Here's a quick breakdown of the fields, the category of fields, which you can see as a illustration that I put right here on the screen. Our categorical fields are country, region, and year. Our quantitative fields include happiness score, GDP capita, and support, social support, health life expectancy, freedom, generosity, and trust in the government. Using these fields, I created visualizations to explore trends, compare countries, and reveal which factors are most influential. What's really powerful in this dataset allows for both wide-scale comparisons and in-depth analysis of individual countries and regions. I will now go over to my Tableau report where I can show you even further analysis and visualizations. The first thing I will start off with is with the Pareto chart. This chart shows that a small number of countries like Switzerland, Iceland, Norway, and Canada account for a large portion of high global life expectancy. This visualization follows the classic 80-20 rule. About 20% of countries make up the majority of high life expectancy outcomes. This tells us that there are serious disparities in healthcare access, living conditions, and quality of life. I will also move on to the dashboard of life expectancy, which is one of the strongest indicators of well being and public health. The year comparison of life expectancy from 2018 to 2019, it shows changes over time where some countries improve and others decline. For example, India showed significant improvement, possibly due to government led health initiatives like the Ayushman Bharat insurance program. In contrast, countries like Venezuela and Lesotho declined largely due to political instability, economic issues, or healthcare system collapse. These two views together highlight the importance of long term investment in health systems, not only to increase lifespans, but to improve overall happiness. Now let's look at a GDP per capita, which measures the economic output per person. This is the GDP comparison from 2018 to 2019. This dashboard focuses on the top 10 countries by GDP for 2018 and 2019 using parameter controls, which is in Tableau, an advanced feature. The big question here is, does more money really buy more happiness? Initially, the answer seems to be yes, but higher GDP outlines with higher happiness. But a closer look shows that GDP isn't everything. For instance, Qatar and Singapore have incredibly high GDPs, but their happiness score don't always match. Why? Because countries like Finland and Denmark, while not as wealthy, score higher due to greater social trust, stronger support systems, and personal freedom. In 2019, this became even more obvious. Some countries with economic wealth had stagnant or even lower happiness score due to low trust in government or inequality. This shows us that wealth is a piece of the puzzle, but not the full picture. Happiness depends on how that wealth is distributed and societies are structured. To bring this all together, I built a story point in Tableau focusing on the 6 happiness factors and how they align in the happiness countries, particularly Finland, which ranked number one in both 2018 and 2019. This right here is the story point. Finland is a great example because it doesn't just excel in one area, it scores high across the board. It has a strong GDP per capita, outstanding social support, high life expectancy, broad personal freedom, low perceived corruption, and fairly high generosity. In addition to analyzing Finland, I created a calculated field to categorize all countries into 3 groups. This is where it's at. I created a happy, a moderate, a moderately happy for each country, and also a unhappy column. This classification right here lets us quickly visualize regional patterns between each country. For example, Scandinavian countries consistently fall into happy group, while many sub-Saharan and conflict affected regions land in the unhappy group. These groupings help us understand not only individual countries but global trends in well-being. I will now go over to my R project where I have even deeper analysis. So I created a scatter plot, generosity versus happiness. The next scatter plot looks at generosity versus happiness. The pattern here is more scattered with a moderate positive correlation. What's interesting is that generosity does not seem to contribute to well-being, but it's not as large Trump predictor as freedom. For example, Latin American countries tend to score high in generosity, like Guatemala or Mexico, but still face challenges with safety or trust, which can pull happiness score down. So generosity helps, but on its own, it's not enough to drive national happiness. It plays more of a supporting role alongside trust, freedom, and economic stability. I also created a box plot showing the health life expectancy in the top 20 countries in 2019. I'll run the code here now for you. So the illustration will pop up. Here we go. This is the healthy life expectancy by country, the top 20 in 2019. Here we can clearly see that countries in Western Europe and North America dominate the top tier. The median life expectancy in these nations is higher, and the distribution is relatively tight, meaning most people experience consistently good health outcomes. What's also useful here is the box point lets us identify outliers, countries that are either performing better or worse than expected based on their region or income level. This helps target areas for improvement or further study. These are my closing remarks based on my World Happiness Report. To wrap up this project, I offered a deep dive into what actually makes people happy, not just temporarily, but in terms of long-term societal well-being. Through tools like Tableau and R, I was able to uncover patterns, test assumptions, and visualize the complex relationship between economic factors, social systems, and individual perception. Ultimately, GDP isn't enough. Countries with strong healthcare, high trust, generous communities, and personal freedom consistently rank higher in happiness. These insights can help shape policy, improve public services, and guide future research. Thank you for your time, and I hope this gave you a meaningful look at what global happiness really looks like.